Magandang umaga mga kasama, narito na mga balita sa oras na ito. Tuon ng itim na Nazareno hindi ilalabas sa Semana Santa. Kasama natin sa balitang yan si XL Rajuman 2, Joyce Adra.
DZXL Rajuman Report.
Nilinaw ng Manila Police District at ang pamunuan ng Minor Basilica of the Black Nazarene na hindi ilalabas ang puon ng itim na Nazareno sa panahon ng Semana Santa. Ayon kay MPD Director Brigadier General Leo Francisco, pumayag ang panumpamunuan ng simbahan ng Quiapo sa kanilang rekomendasyon na kahit na sa panahon ng Semana Santa ay hindi ilalabas ang Black Nazarene. Sa harap ito ng pananatili ng NCR sa Alert Level 1 ng COVID-19. Nilinaw naman ng MPD na tuloy pa rin ang prosesyon pero ang maaari lamang sumama ay mga pari, sakristan at mga mananampalataya. Subalit hindi kasama ang puon ng itim na Nazareno para maiwasan ang pagdagsa ng mga deboto sa mga kalye na daraanan ng prosesyon. Kasama mo sa Maynila, Radyo Mandos, Joyce Collantes Adra, Tatak RMN, DZXL 558.
At Presidential Aspirant Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson magtutungo dyan sa Romblon para ilatag ang kanilang mga programa at plataforma. Balitang hatid ni XL Rajuman 3, Silvestre Labay.
DZXL Rajuman Report.
Nais ipabot Rajuman na Angel ngayon ni Presidential Aspirant Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson ang mga mamamayan ng Romblon ang kanilang plataforma ng kanyang running mate si Senate President Vicente Tito Soto III. Ilalatag sa darating na Lunes ni Senador Lacson sa mga mamamayan ng Romblon ng kanilang programa na nakatuon naman sa korupsyon at tamang pamamahala sa gobyerno sa Jungan Town sa public market tour at makipag-usap sa LGU's opisyal at maging sa mamamayan sa Children's Paradise. Pagkatapos ay magtutungo naman sa Ujungan Landing Oval at alas 9 hanggang alas 9:30 ng umaga. Sila naman ay magta-travel sa Romblon at tutungo sa provincial capital. Paliwanag pa ni Lacson, napakahalaga na maipadama ng Lacson Soto Tandem sa mga mamamayan ng Romblon ang kanilang programa na maiangat na rin ang antas ng kamalayan ng mga Pilipino tungkol sa pagboto sa tamang kandidato na tunay na may kakayahan at kalidad na makapaglingkod sa bansa. Dagdag pa ni Lacson, nais din niyang magsagawa ng courtesy call kay Governor Jose Otek Riano. Pagkatapos na makausap ang gobernador, magtutungo si Lacson sa Romblon Municipal Hall at magsasagawa naman ng courtesy call kay Mayor Gard Montojo at maglalakad patungo sa historic church upang humingi ng gabay sa dakilang may kapal. Binigyan din pa ni Lacson na mahalaga na magsagawa ng town hall meeting sa mga mamamayan doon, kaya't nais ng veteranong senador na makaupalang palad at malaman ang mga problema upang agad niyang mabigyan ng kukulang solusyon sa lalong madaling panahon. Kasama mo, kina Lacson Soto Tandem, Rajuman 3, Silvestre Labay, Tata RMM, DZXL 558.
At yan po ang mga balita sa oras na ito. I-viral ang totoong balita at gawing trending ang malagang impormasyon sa bawat Pilipino. Pag-like ang aming Facebook page, RMN DZXL 558 Manila, at i-like at subscribe ang aming YouTube channel, DZXL 558. Ako pong yung Rajuman 4, Angel Ranquillo, Tatak Arimen. Ang oras, mga kasama, Tatak alas 10:04 ng magandang umaga.
That time check was brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS.
Sample Plus Gold.
Ako si Morito na namamaga ang aking atay. Sa loob ng 2 linggo na paggamit ko ng Santon Plus Gold, nawala ang pamamaga sa aking atay. Maraming salamat sa Santon Plus Gold.
Sample Plus Gold. Mas pinalakas, pinagaling, pinahusay. Sample Plus Gold. Mabibili sa mga butika. Santon Vitamin C, ang alkaline na vitamin C.
Ako si Julie. Lagi ako nagkaka-rashes dahil sa aking allergy. Nang sinubukan ko ang Santon Vitamin C, hindi na ako sinusumpong ng aking mga allergy.
Santon Vitamin C, ang alkaline na vitamin C. Mabibili sa pinakamalapit na butika sa inyong lugar.
Star Wax, Star Wax, Wax. Star Wax, Star Wax, Wax. Always remember, sa paglinis, pakitabin ang sahig. Mrs. Star Wax, Wax. Kitang na to the max.
Star Wax, ang #1
all-in-one floor wax. May waterproof formula. Buhusan man ang tubig, balikin tabang sahig.
Star Wax, Wax. Kintab na to the max, max, max.
Star Wax Floor Wax. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified world-class quality.
ACS.
Lumipas at magbago ang panahon. Iisa at nakatatak ang kauna-unahang himpilan sa paghahatid ng serbisyo publiko at balita. Ito ang Radio Mindanao Networks. Higit-6 na dekada sa paglilingkod sa masang Pilipino. Sa Metro Manila, ito ang DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho, ang inyong gabay sa hanap buhay. Malaki man o sa maliit na paraan, pwede kang maging bayani sa sarili mong kakayahan. Kwentong Bayani. Tunghayan ang mga storya ng bawat individual at organisasyon na siyang magbibigay ng inspirasyon sa mga komunidad, lipunan at sa bawat mamamayan. Kwentong Bayani. Kwentong Bayani. Kasama si Jojo Armenta at Radyoman Jenny Pahilanga sa Kwentong Bayani. Dito sa DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho tuwing Sabado alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga at sa Facebook page ng RMN DZXL 558 Manila. Kwentong Bayani. Kwentong Bayani. Hatid ng Benita at Catalino Ya Foundation at ng RMN Networks. Kwentong Bayani. Kwentong Bayani.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Unang Sabado sa buwan ng Abril, taong 2022. At syempre po hatid po sa inyo ng RMN at ang BZYF ang programang Kwentong Bayani. At kasama ang inyong radyoman, Jenny Pahilanga. Syempre ang aking partner nandito yan. Lagi po natin kasama every Saturday, partner Jojo Armenta. Good morning!
Good morning, partner Jenny. Good morning po sa ating lahat, especially sa mga nakikinig sa radyo at sa live streaming po natin ngayon sa Facebook at sa YouTube. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
And partner Jojo, sa kaalaman ng ng ating mga nakikinig at nanonood ngayon sa Facebook page, panoorin niyo ho kami, RMN DZXL 558 Manila. I-like at i-share nila yan. At sa aming YouTube channel, DZXL 558. Ito ay ang Abril ngayon, ang nakatutok ang BZYF nga partner sa
Technology. So, partner Jenny, ang aming sineselebrate ngayong month na ito specifically ay how can we use technology to create social impact. So, Technology Month ang April para sa PCYF.
That's good. Sige. At excited na tayo dyan, partner. Umpisahan na natin para sa ating unang guest for this morning. First Saturday ngayon ng April, ha?
Ay, correct. Nako, pero hindi April Fool's Day, kahapon pala yun, no, partner. April 2 na ngayon, kaya tuloy-tuloy ang ating magagandang usapin para sa mga susunod na weeks, no? So, pakilala ko na ang ating unang panauhin, partner.
Go ahead.
So, syempre, I'm excited din dahil kapwa kulasa ko pala to. I'm from Saints ko eh. So, kakulasa ko, no? Ang ating guest for today ay head trainer ng De La Salle University Skills Proficiency and Resource Development Center, Assistant Professor ng Software Technology Department, College of Computer Studies, and Faculty Advisor ng Virdis Arcus Esports or DLSU Esports Student Organization. At on the side, siya rin pala ay nag-edit ng mga videos. Also, she's a game developer and also a very avid fan of K-pop.
Wow.
Ayan. Talagang pinahabol niya yan sa akin. So, pakilala po natin ang ating first guest, si Miss Joy Sales. Good morning, Miss Joy.
Hi. Morning.
Good morning, Miss Joy.
Nako, talagang gamer talaga to si Miss Joy. Tama yung background niya, partner, oh.
Oo nga
Magulong area. obvious na gamer, di ba?
Gusto ko yung ano,
Yeah.
yung pahabol na K-pop no?
True. Nako, usong-uso yan ngayon. Kaya nakakatuwa na baka maraming makaka-relate sa ating pag-usapin ngayong araw to. Pero dahil nabanggit ko nga, partner Jenny, na we're talking about technology because we're celebrating Technology Month, no? Saktong-sakto yung pagbisita or pagkuha natin as a guest kay Miss Joy kasi she's very passionate about gaming or developing games.
Wow.
So unahan ko na, partner,
Go ahead.
aside from we mentioned that that's your advocacy, Miss Joy, how did you get involved with BCYF?
Well, first and foremost, hello everybody.
Go ahead, yeah.
Good morning sa lahat, diba? Lalo na doon sa mga gamer na hindi natutulog. Yes. So, how did I get involved? It was siguro faith. I hope you can hear me well, diba?
Yeah.
Medyo maingay yung environment ko. But anyway, it was faith because I was invited into an event. And same thing, I talked about advocacy. And that's where it all started. Just by talking about something that you're passionate about, something that you love, and something that you know that would change people's lives and make it better. So that's how it all started. And yan, na-connect namin yan with regards to BCYF Game Lab and all of that. So yeah, that's how I started with BCYF. And yun, volunteering ever since.
Wow, that's good. Ganda pala, no, ng kanyang pag-uumpisa, no, partner ni Joy. Oo nga, ang ganda pala talaga ng background niya kanina. Oo, nakita ko yung paligid. Eto, Miss Joy, pinag-uusapan nga natin, sabi nga ni partner kanina, Jojo, ang month of April is a technology month, ano? Since we're talking about technology, ano sa palagay mo ang social impact, no, nitong paggamit natin ng technology?
The funny part about it right now is that wala tayong choice. Even if we are not technology-driven people before the pandemic, now we're all into technology, and it's because it's the only way that we can move forward. Ang problem lang kasi is that some were forced. Some were really forced and are not actually ready to embrace it. Diba? And some of the others are not also aware on how they could be responsible in terms of utilizing technology. And I'm not only talking about cell phones and everything else, not just the gadgets, but the entirety of technology itself. And the other portion also is that since it was pushed in very, very fast, nobody was really that much prepared except for the techies already. This is already a part of our lifestyle. But even kami, overwhelmed kami. So maximizing it was, it came to a point that everybody was using it without knowing when to stop. Without knowing when that this is reality and this is my other reality and I'm doing things virtually in order for me to be able to connect. But I still have a life. Yun yung hindi nila nakita, diba? So, sa akin, it's more of trying to not just maximize it because we've totally saturated it already. Kaya nga tayo pagod. But when to stop? When to say that, okay, I'll put everything on the side, I'll park this just like my ball pen, and then I'll live life again just like how I used to, even if there's still a pandemic. So, yun yung, I think that's where we kind of lack when to say, okay, tama muna, life naman, normal life again. Kasi we can merge two and two together. But sad to say, some were totally immersed in technology and they forgot how to live like normal people.
Right. Nako, very interesting yung sinabi ni Miss Joy, no? So Miss Joy, since we're gonna relate yung paggamit ng technology no sa ginagawa mo, usong-uso yan, no, partner Jenny, yung e-gaming, no? Yung mga laro ngayon, ako, pati yung anak ko sobrang na sa
lalo
e-games
partner, lalo partner ng pandemic, di ba, Miss Joy?
Oo.
Nawala
Kasi
na panlilibangan.
Oo, lahat.
Oh, everyone talaga is exploring na online games. And I think hindi rin naman siya sobrang bad. And sometimes, of course, may disadvantages din. Miss Joy, my question is, how can you maximize the use of technology in e-games or game developing to create a difference?
First and foremost, you need to understand what is the purpose as to why you're playing. Kasi some people don't know that eh. I mean, some people would just say na, I want to play, period. But what is driving you to do so? You need to understand the reason behind it because it doesn't just magically happen. Diba? So, you need to understand why you want to play. For one, do you want to just relax?
Okay.
Do you want to just distress? Do you want to, in my case kasi, I play games in order for me to understand these games because I would want to use it as a source of inspiration whenever I design games. So it's a little bit more on research rather than just casual playing, diba? But for the most of the people, it's more geared towards I would want to do something else rather than what I'm doing usually. So what you need to understand is, are you using this as an escape? Or are you using just to relax and unwind and have a breather? There's a big difference between that eh. Ang nangyayari kasi is, diba, it's just like, I don't know if I can mention it at this early in the morning, but some people would drink, right? To forget. Some people would date to forget. I mean, there is a reason as to why they would do that. Pero yung nakikita ko kasi is that they should maximize it in terms of trying to bring back some sort of normalcy in their life rather than escaping from the harsh reality of life. So the time that you can fully know the benefits of it is when you take the positive pathway rather than use it as an escape.
Ganda.
Wow. Very trivial. Ngayon ko lang narinig yan Very,
pasensya na.
Hindi, Miss Joy, ang galing. Kasi I think a lot of people should hear that and should learn from it. And that's why we're doing Kwentong Bayani, to inspire and to educate people. And I think, partner Jenny, sa sinabi ni Miss Joy, yung pagiging responsable, ito po, pasok yung social responsibility na topic na gustong ipahayag ng BCYF sa mga tao, na you have also to be socially responsible when you play online games,
Tama,
diba?
Lahat, diba? Pero may nakausap ka na ba, Miss Joy? Halimbawa, sa 5 mong kaibigan, bakit? Ano yung pinaka sa tatlo dahilan na number 1?
Ma'am, sa 5 kaibigan na hindi ko kaedad. Kasi most of the people my age are already either married with kids, diba? And some of them would play casually but not as frequent as my students. So it's a little bit different. Although almost everybody nowadays plays something on mobile, diba? Or not necessarily on the PC or the laptop, but actually on mobile phone. But it's the people my age are not as frequent as those that I teach or I mingle with on a daily basis since I'm a teacher. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, anong perspective ba bang pag-uusapan natin?
baka hindi lang pag-escape yung kanilang dahilan, hindi ba? Oo nga, kasi karamihan talaga, should I say, I'm sorry for my word, na-addict, di ba, Joy?
Yes, correct.
Oo. But anyway.
Maganda yung feeling, ma'am eh. It brings a good feeling to you. And if, kunwari, di ba, we're work from home for some people, ngayon palang nagkikick in yung going back to
work.
In some shape or form, normalcy because we have to report to an office. Pero di ba, when you're sitting in front of just your laptop and everything is within reach. You can always reach your phone. I can actually talk to you right now and play. Pero hindi ako ganon, di ba? Pero that's possible, di ba? There are people who do that. They don't have to look at it because they memorize already what they need to do. And instinctive na lang siya. Pero yun nga it becomes addictive if you cannot say no. But you need to understand why can't you say no? So ibig sabihin nun, it's firing something. It's giving you something that makes you want to hold on to it and not what you are actually looking at, which is your reality. So virtually, it's killing your reality. But you need to know, is it killing it on the right way, or is it parang altering it for the benefit of making it more beautiful, more interesting, or is it actually killing it because you're totally just immersing yourself there? The reason why they actually become addicted to it is because mas masaya dun eh.
Correct. Oo.
Diba?
Tama.
Mas masaya dun. Mas masaya dito. Hawakan ko telepono ko. I'm happy.
Correct. Kaya,
I'm a winner. I'm a knight. I'm a king. I'm a queen.
You can express.
I'm rich. Diba?
Right.
So yun. These are things that some people don't have. But if you know that these are just virtual worlds that you're utilizing just like you're an actor and you're just portraying a role and it makes you happy, but after you go down the stage, you're still your person.
Correct.
If you have that kind of how should I say this, parang boundary, then you're okay. Diba?
Yeah.
But anyway, Miss Joy, ano sa palagay mo, no, malaman din namin ang posible na tulong o suporta sa gaming industry para lumawak ito o lumagana pa?
How can we actually, well, number one, by supporting them and also supporting the games that are being developed here in the Philippines, because we have a lot of good developers here. It's just that, syempre, they're not that big, diba? They're not how should I say this, they're not well advertised, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good. There are a lot of game development companies and even individual people, individual game developers who make really great games. And these are not just games na parang ginaya lang from somewhere that's already existing. No, they're very unique in the sense. And what we need to do is play everything, diba? Try out everything. I mean, syempre, we know how to filter it, and we should not try out those that are a little bit questionable. We should check out ratings, diba? If the reviews are good, then we should try it out, even if they're not coming from these big guns or the AAA companies. We should support people. That would actually make them be able to produce more games for us.
Right. Meron ka bang masasabi na example, Miss Joy, na as in locally made na e-games or games online na nagmula sa Pilipinas that you can share?
There's one game that kasi I'm into visual novels. So visual novels is semi like reading a book, except that it's digital. And if you're into like choose your own adventures, yun nga eh, sandali. I'm old, so these are game books. These are game books in the 1980s, 1990s. I think I have an example of those game books over here, if I'm not mistaken. Diba? I'm that old, diba? Sorry naman. So yeah, these books. Hindi ako vlogger. I'm sorry. So hindi ko siya pino-promote. Hindi yan sponsor. So these books, actually, you can't read from cover to cover. At a certain point of the page, you will be given an option to choose. Diba? So you choose your fate. Do I move forward? Do I move backward? Turn to page like this, turn to page like that. So in visual novels, it's the same thing, except that it's interactive in the digital sense. You can play it through your phone, you can play it through your laptop, whatever gadget you have. Now, one thing that I've always loved ever since it was developed was the letter by Yang Mobile. I really love how it was done, and these are one of their first works, and I still love it until now. I mean, they're still here. These are students from the College of St. Benilde who put up their own company, diba? And they're still thriving until now since they graduated. They studied game development, and the way that they write the stories are very compelling. It's very nice to read and to be immersed in the environment, and it doesn't alter your persona. The good part about this is, just like going back to social responsibility and everything, there's a lot of ethical issues that are not being crossed to a certain point. Kumbaga, very careful sila in terms of putting out the art, the story, and everything. It's very positive. And it may not be known for some people because it depends naman kasi the gamer depends on the genre. If you love to play this, diba, you can play Valorant and everything else. You can play Mobile Legends, or Genshin Impact. It's fine. But for me, I'd rather go to that. Siguro dahil I'm already 40. So I'd rather go to that level.
Akala ko 30 ka lang, Joy.
I'm 45, ma'am. I'm turning 46 on August.
Parang 30 lang, ha? Oo, bata.
So, yeah, I'm into stories kasi even if I'm dyslexic. Even if I have and this helped me survive reading books. Because it's not, there are pictures inside.
Oh, okay.
There's also pictures inside. Diba? There's art. And these were books that were bought to me when I was young by my grandmother, my mother, my father. We're all teachers, by the way. And the good part about this is even if there was no name during that time in the Philippines for my learning disability, my parents knew that there was something wrong. So they went out of the norm. And they want me to be good at reading, good at speaking. They're all English teachers kasi, diba? So by default, Filipino wasn't our first language at home. But point here is they discovered this book. And they saw that it would be something that would help me. So going back to another portion of that, people with learning disabilities could also be, kumaga parang, how should I say this, encouraged through games. By the way, this is a game book because it's sort of like a game inside. It has game mechanics inside, but you're reading it, diba? So we just like elevated it to a different kind of genre and put into digital. So the good part about this is we can teach values in it. Diba? We can inculcate values, especially those that nakakalimutan na ng mga bata.
Oo.
Diba? Kasi they're into games naman, diba? We as designers, developers, we need to incorporate it properly. Not to the point that that student will, that the child or whoever the gamer is going to be overwhelmed. Kasi mapapansin nila yun, bakit parang masyado na tong parang serbo ng pare. Diba? So tayo, we just incorporate these certain values that we have into either the game story. Depends already on how the person is going to be designing the game. It doesn't have to be flaunted out, but it could change. The good part about it is there's an impact, and the impact is positive.
Right.
That's good.
Ayun. Busog na tayo. Umaga pa lang, busog na tayo.
Natulala na naman tayo.
Mahina ang 30 minutes.
Oo nga. Naku, kailangan pala ito ng isang oras, no, na discussion about, kasi yun ang usong-usong yun, yung mga online games, online gaming. So, Miss Joy, since you're a teacher, also you're a game developer, what's your advice naman sa mga aspiring game developers para mas mag-grow sila dun sa passion nila, kasi it's a very, I think it's a new industry that's booming. So what's your advice? How can you inspire or encourage them to continue what they're doing?
When we design games, kasi I'm more into designing rather than the endpoint, which is the development. We start with design, we inculcate the art, and then we develop it all together. So in terms of designing kasi, we should always remember as developers that we are not doing this for ourselves. We need to know, the same thing as why you're playing. You need to know the purpose, diba?
Right.
If you're going to be designing something, you need to know the purpose. Who are you designing this for, and what is the message that you want to get across? And preferably, if you have this value system that you would want to also share to them, diba? Especially as being not only a son or a daughter, but a Filipino, then you can incorporate it inside without really flaunting it out. Kasi sometimes the games that are designed by us, it smells so much our culture that some foreigners shy away from it. But we can put it in without really flaunting the fact that, diba, you put all the flags everywhere. Diba? So, ang ano na lang dito is, we need to always know who we're designing it for so that we can properly make it happen. We can properly transfer whatever we would want na message. And at the same time, ito pala, since you mentioned that I'm a teacher, there are teachers also who can do this. Kasi they know their subject matter better. Wag nilang isipin na this is a game and this is my student loves games, I give this game, they will learn my subject. No. You have to make something that is really meant for your target audience, which is your students. You just don't get some design and then say that it's going to work. No. Because it is based on the perspective of the student and also the subject matter that you're teaching. So if you're going to be a teacher who would want to also design games, not necessarily develop them, you can always hire a programmer or an artist, diba? But the concept of it can come from you, which is basically where it starts, diba?
Right.
So design games that you know that would make or come up with better people. Design games that you know that would help them become better people. And then eventually, diba, it would inspire them to bring out the best in themselves.
Okay.
So,
Tama. Naku, napakagandang.
and don't forget God. Diba? You don't have to flaunt it out, but again, based on value system, it could be incorporated.
Very well said, Mr.
Yay.
Okay.
Perfect. Naku, thank you so much, Miss Joy. Baka naman may mga gusto ka dyang i-promote na pages o kaya events. Yan. Pwede ka ma-follow ng mga taong nakikinig sa atin ngayong umaga. Go ahead po.
Well, basically myself, wala ako ipopromote sa sarili ko. I told you before, Jojo, I don't even want to be introduced. hindi ako masyado in terms of introduction. I'd rather be just somebody who's there willing to help. If anybody would like to learn more about how to incorporate ethics, moral fiber, strengthen the moral fiber, diba, like into the design of games, or teachers who would want to dabble into any type of genre in game development. It doesn't have to be something that looks like Mobile Legends. Please. It doesn't have to be like that. Depends on your students. So yeah, I'm willing naman to help. Wala namang problem. And PCYF is always here to help also.
Yes,
Diba?
yes. Okay.
You can reach me through that avenue. And the one that I'm heading for, like the skills, I'm into Tibet kasi. So the technical vocational skills of De La Salle University, it's going to be located in Binyan, Laguna. It's in our Laguna campus. We will be operating soon, diba? We're just fixing certain how should I say this, implementing issues, but it is mainly for those who have the talent but do not have the capacity to move forward. And it's for everybody, right? So anybody can try that out. So you'll see that on the pages of De La Salle University.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Joy. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Joy. Have a great day.
Salamat.
Thank you po.
And Ramadan Kareem to all of my Muslim brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Yan naman po si Miss Joy Sales, Head Trainer ng De La Salle University Skill Proficiency and Research Development Center Partner.
Yes. Ayan, so una pa lang yan po sa mga nakikinig sa ating ngayong umaga. Patikim pa lang yun, no? And I think we had a lot of takeaways dun sa mga sinabi ni Miss Joy. I'm very happy na we invited her as a guest kasi sa panahon ngayon, dahil uso-uso na ang online games, mga e-games na yan, I think dito meron din tayong dapat pasukan ng social responsibility. That we have to be really responsible in using this platform or using this technology, diba, partner Jenny?
Kasi yung iba iba na ang nagiging epekto, hindi ba partner? O pangit na.
Oo, nabanggit mo nga kanina na minsan nakaka-addict din talaga naman. But yeah, thanks to Miss Joy for that very encouraging key points and insights.
Okay, sa ating pagbabalik, meron pa tayong isang isi-share sa inyo na magandang, syempre nga, kwentong bayani pa rin sa umagang ito. Pero magbibigay daan muna tayo sa ilang paalaala. Magbabalik pa rin po ang programang
Kwentong Bayani.
Mga karamdaman ba ang problema mo? Subukan ang bago Santon Plus Gold. Santon Plus Gold. Mas pinalakas, mas pinahusay, mas pinagaling. Makatutulong sa paglunas sa mga pamamaga, bukol at iba pang karamdaman sa iyong katawan. Santon Plus Gold. Mabibili sa mga butika. Santon Plus Coffee Mix.
Ako si Lizette, isa akong diabetic patient kaya medyo maraming bawal. Sana dito ang kape, pero hindi ang Santon Plus Coffee Mix. Kakaiba to dahil ito ay may soya, munggay at santol na maganda sa kalusugan.
Santon Plus Coffee Mix. Kape na, gamot pa. Mabibili sa mga butika.
Ang Pride with Fabric Conditioner. Ngayon, may blooming na bango ng Sakura.
Sakura, Sakura ang Pride. Sakura, Sakura, Sakura ang Pride ko. Blooming ang labada ko. Pride, Sakura, Sakura.
Pride with Fabric Conditioner. May Sakura Blooming Pearls para sa labadang blooming sa linis, labadang blooming sa bango for as long as 24 hours.
Blooming ang labada ko. Pride, Sakura, Sakura.
Para sa blooming na labada, i-Pride Sakura mo na. Pride Sakura Blossom. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Good news mula sa Department of Agriculture at PhilMec. Mag-apply at sumali sa FCA's Farmers Cooperative Associations at pwede ka nang makinabang sa programang RCEP Mechanization Program na naglalayong tulungan ng mga magsasaka na makatanggap ng mga makinaryang pansaka. Dahil sa mga makinaryang yan, maaasahan ang magandang ani at kita. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, makipag-ugnayan sa tanggapan ng PhilMec o Facebook page nito. Basta RCEP Machinery Distribution sa PhilMec yan. Aarangkada ang magsasaka sa tamang makinarya.
Sa Metro Manila, DZXL. Radyo, trabaho, DZXL. Ang tunay na gabay sa hanap buhay. Kwentong Bayani. Kwentong Bayani. Kasama si Jojo Armenta at Radyoman Jenny Pahilanga sa Kwentong Bayani.
Oras natin, 10:36 in the morning. Kwentong Bayani pa rin po. Hatid sa inyo ng RMN at ng BCYF, Radyoman Jenny and my partner Jojo. Good morning uli.
Good morning, partner Jenny. Naku, nagbabalik po muli ang Kwentong Bayani. Kanina po sa mga hindi pa nakapakinig, ang ating pong topic kanina, kasama natin si Miss Joy Sales, isang game developer. She talked about how to use e-games to create a social impact and also how to become responsible sa paglalaro din ng mga online games. Ikaw ba, habang hinihintay natin yung ating second guest partner, ano yung mga natutunan mo kay Miss Joy kanina?
Oo. Sa kanya kasi gusto ko yung kanyang ginagawa na pag-share through digital ng mga stories. Yan. So basically meron pala siyang yung sa dyslexic nung siya ay tapos naging daan pala yon ng kanyang mga magulang. So nakita mo ngayon kay Miss Joy na ang ganda ng naging bunga o resulta nito. At siya mismo ay sa sarili niya nakakapag-share. Siya nandun pa rin yung sabi mo nga social responsibility pa rin, hindi ba? On her part ni Miss Joy na makapagbahagi pa rin sa ating mga gusto rin na maging katulad niya. At yung kanilang eskwelahan, yung De La Salle sa Laguna. Soon, 'di ba? Yung mga sabi nga maraming gustong may talento pero walang kaparaanan makatulong din para sa ating mga gustong matuto pa at ma-develop ito.
Yes. Kaya naman sa ating mga nakikinig, kung kayo po ay nag-online games, yan, kailangan maging responsible pa rin tayo, no? Kahit na yan ay sabihin natin virtual lang at hindi physical games, no? Kailangan pa rin maging socially responsible. So ngayon, nandito na ang ating second guest, partner Jenny. So ipapakilala ko na ba ang ating pangalawang panauhin sa umagang ito? Actually, hindi na siya bago sa BCYF. He's also part of the family already. He became a CSR Youth Awardee then and also actively helping out in the BCYF projects, different BCYF projects, especially related to youth projects. So ang ating pong second guest ay founder ng You Happy Events, owner of InsureMyCar.ph, and owner and managing director of Baron Group, at digital creator ng Always Hungry PH. So ipakilala po natin ang ating pangalawang guest, si Harvard Uy De Baron. Good morning, Harvard!
Morning, good morning.
Good morning, Sir
Hi.
Harvard.
Ayan, si partner Jenny ang ating kasama sa RMN, Harvard.
Good morning.
Kamusta ka naman, Harvard?
Okay naman, maganda gising natin ngayong umaga. Kahit na medyo excited for the weekend kasi weekend na naman, no?
Yes. There's so many things to look forward to ba in your weekend, Harvard?
Well, meron lang ako mga gagawin this weekend. I have kumbaga I will create content this weekend. Staycation kami sa Manila for 2 days.
I see.
Excited. Ayan.
Okay. Sige, partner, go na. Paunahan mo na.
Umpisahan ko na, Sir Harvard. Eto, tanong ko sa iyo, no? Maaari niyo bang ibahagi sa amin, paano po kayo na-involved dito sa BCYF? Tsaka, ano po yung inyong personal advocacy?
Well, BCYF has been part of my, as Jojo says, no, part of my family. I was nominated initially as part of the award na
Yes, our Youth Awards.
Yes, our Youth Awards. I was nominated initially for that one, and then fortunately a year after, I actually won that award. Kaya lang, when I won that award, because obviously I didn't know that I will win it. I wasn't there. I was in Australia at that time. So, sayang nga, hindi ko na tanggap personally yung trophy and to give a speech, no? Which for me was very important because iba yung feeling of being recognized together with the group and be able to share what we do as an NGO for all these years. So yeah, so nanalo tayo, and then after that, Mr. Yap personally has invited me on a lot of other initiatives. He also invited me to be able to speak in a lot of schools and also be part of a selection committee and so on. So a lot of other things also.
Okay. So yun pala ang naging bahagi, no? Partner ng BCYF.
Okay. At since Harvard, we're talking about, kasi nga April month is a technology month of BCYF. We want to relate yung topic natin about technology, as I mentioned you when I invited you. Ano sa tingin mo, since you're into millennial ka, di ba? Harvard, millennial ka din.
Nasa cut-off lang ako ng millennial.
Ganun ba? Malapit na mawala sa kalendaryo.
Only to Google, millennial starts at 1980. So I was born in 1980. So if I was born a year before, I can't be a millennial. So at least
correct.
Pasok tayo doon. Yeah.
Yun, pasok tayo doon. Since we're talking about technology, ayan. So my question is, how can we use technology to create a social impact?
Well, right now, technology has played a big role in a lot of things. Even so far as elections, as you can see, is a major medium to be able to know more about your candidate, at the same time research about your other shall I say, yung mga hindi mo gusto pa na pipilian. But insofar as what I do as a content creator, your audience is vast. Anyone can discover you. There's a lot of creativity that can be passed on to your audience. It's unlimited. The possibilities are unlimited. Of course, with the same access like everybody else, like yung kapitbahay mo, yung kapatid mo, yung manay mo, everybody has the same level of access. The creativity, it comes into play, no? Kailangan You know what's more interesting. You know what's gonna be supported by the people that can see your content. So that comes next, no? You gotta have some interesting stuff to be able to post online.
Okay, ayun
So, di ba, Harvard, I know that you are blogging, no? You're a writer, you're a content creator, and specifically sa food, di ba? Tama ba? Always Hungry PH is sa food blogging. So, i-relate natin sa pagbablog mo sa mga food. How can you maximize the use of technology in terms of food blogging naman?
Okay, during the pandemic, one of the things that I got into was video editing. For so many years, editing for me was undiscovered. I don't know how they do it. Especially when you go into weddings, diba? Na-amaze ka sa same day edit, how they transition all of these things. So I always see that the creativity around it. I see how nice it is. Especially I got into TikTok. So TikTok is all about videos. There's no point putting a static photo and just doing a carousel. And that's not how it works. So if I wanted to go to the medium of TikTok and be able to put content in TikTok, eventually I had to learn how to edit videos. So I saw myself being able from discovering on how to upload a video to how to shoot a video to actually editing and putting it together to making it more interesting by providing more transitions and of course comparing notes from different other bloggers, no. Yun ang naging discovery ko, which I feel is important because more and more audience is leaning towards videos. Kasi dati uso yung writing. People read the content on your website, and then people transition from photos, and then from photos naging stories, and then from stories naging reels or naging TikTok. So it's important that we get to transition and adapt to what's important or what's interesting to the audience at the moment. So kailangan ko humabol, no? And know more about what's patok to the people who see my content.
Sir Harvard, as a digital creator, anong nakikita mong kailangan pang suporta, no, on your part para mas lumagana pa ito, mas maintindihan at mas sabi nga isuportahan din ang ating mga kababayan o mga mahilig dito sa ganitong klaseng sabi nga yan ang ating technology pinag-uusapan natin, trending ngayon, hindi ba, Sir Harvard?
Yeah, for sure, no. Nakita natin na blogging or being an influencer, so to speak, it's now an industry by itself. Before kasi wala naman tayong pinag-aaralan sa college na how to be an influencer.
Yes, walang ganon.
But then again, we see young people as early as 12, 13, or even younger pa, no, becoming content creators already as early as now and earning a lot of money already also versus their older counterparts. For example, I know some kumu, nagkukumu sila live. That's another type of content. I see some teenagers like as early as 18-year-olds making $1 million, no? $1 million a month.
Wow.
In Kumu, by using that platform to be able to show their skill sets. Let's say maganda sila, diba? They have that beauty going, and then of course hindi lang dapat beauty, meron din dapat skill. Dapat magaling. Kung singer ka, kailangan magaling ka talaga kumanta. So nag-request yung audience mo sa Kumu na, can you please sing our anniversary song with him? So syempre pag kinanta, maganda yung delivery, magbibigay ngayon yung nag-request ng money. In the Kumu, diamonds ang binibigay.
Oo.
So, but going back to your question, no, now that being an influencer or content creator has become an industry in itself, there has to be more support in terms of creating a standard guideline. Kumbaga yung mga do's and don'ts. How to be kumbaga on the ethical side also. Ano yung mga dapat hindi mo gawin? Ano yung mga dapat mong gawin that can generate respect or something or can put you in a better place.
Right.
Sometimes by accident people do the wrong things and then they get viral in the wrong reasons. So canceled na sila from there. Sayang. Kasi sometimes it just takes one bad video to get you canceled. Hindi ka na papansinin. Mababash ka. Ang hirap mag-bash ngayon.
Totoo yan.
That can trigger a lot of emotional damages for a person. So for me, there has to be an established set of rules, kumbaga guidelines that content creators can follow. Because a lot of them come in online blindly, and they just copy somebody without learning how that person actually got there. So kinopya lang nila yung nakita nilang maganda, pero in the process of that, may ginawa silang hindi maganda, bumagsak sila. So that's one, no? There has to be guidance. And number two, there has to be an understanding of what an influencer is. There has to be a definition. How do you become an influencer? And is it really an appropriate term? Are you really influencing?
Yes.
For me, kasi I don't call myself an influencer. Because in so far as knowing the audience, I know who they are, but I don't know if I'm really influencing. Ko alam na lahat ba ng pinopost ko, binibili ba nila? Or mga ganun eh. So I don't wanna get into that sphere of saying na influencer talaga ako. Kasi lahat ng pinost ko, lumakas yung benta ni client. Dahil sa ganda ng photos ko, ganyan. Ganda ng video ko, ganyan. There's so much pressure to be called an influencer. So I'd rather call myself as a digital creator or a content creator in this case. But yes, for me, it's important that we establish rules at the same time define what you are in terms of putting your content out there.
Okay, all right, partner.
Yeah, so nabanggit, actually I'm about to ask how can we in that line of what you're doing, Harvard, I'm about to ask sana na how can people be socially responsible at the same time, not just doing it as a hobby or as a passion, but how can you be socially responsible in using these platforms that you guys are using? Siguro ang mas maganda din na question na dun ay for those people who are aspiring to become blogger, not just food, no, but like blogger in general, what's your advice to them? Number one, to become socially responsible. Second is to really pursue what they're really good at, what they want to do, and if that's their passion, then do it.
Yeah, for me that's very important. No, everything that you put out there gotta be representing who you are. You can't fake that. Let's say you're putting content na hirap kang i-produce kasi hindi naman ikaw yun. Kasi even certain antics online na you're trying to be funny or trying to create pero hirap ka to do that. That's definitely a no-no because you can't sustain that particular thing. But for me, one really big advice is you gotta stay humble as you grow. When you're starting, and of course, sa simula, you're still building your audience, dumadami pa yung mga followers mo, o yung yung mga nag-review ng content mo, be able to humbly recognize those who support you. Kung mga, alam mo, kasi alam mo, obvious naman yun pag nagpo-post ka, merong mga frequent na nagla-like, na nakikilala mo na. Kumbaga, may bago kang pinost, may nag-comment. Siya na naman yung nag-comment. So, nakikita mo yung mga talagang naniniwala sa'yo, yung believe sa'yo sa mga ginagawa mo. So, for me, it's important that as you grow, you recognize whom you actually supported you from the start, and then stay humble as kasi importante kasi kung lumaki yung ulo natin, mawawala din yung mga taong naniwala siya sa start.
Okay.
Pag lumaki ang ulo, mahirap na again, mapabash ka din.
Oo, tama. Okay. At meron ka bang gustong i-promote as a parting words na rin, Sir Harvard? Go ahead para sa ating mga nakikinig po at nanonood sa programa ngayon. Go ahead, sir.
Well, as mentioned by Jojo a while ago, I am into alwayshungry.ph. Kung gusto nyong tumakam-takam kayo habang
tanghalian na no?
Nagutom tuloy kami.
Yan, may disclaimer yan. Baka mamaya ipilip mo ko kung bakit kayo lumaki yung inyong weight. Yung mga pinopost ko. Piliin nyo lang yung time. Siguro sa umaga lang, paggabi kasi baka mag-next na kayo bigla. Alwayshungry.ph or PH is in Instagram. I also have a website. You can check that for yung mga reviews that I do for different restaurants and different products. Of course, meron din tayong NGO for children. That's been something I've been doing for the last 16 years. So kahit nung pandemic, tayo ay mahanap ng paraan to be able to support the kids, be able to give them a better opportunity, better life through our donors and sponsors. And of course, one last na yung aking business, yung aking insurance brokerage. If you would like to check what we do, you can visit insuremycar.ph. Obviously, nag-insure kami ng cars.
Okay.
Among others. So, salamat sa pag-invite sa RMN DZXL 558 Manila. Natutuwa ako na I get invites to be able to share what I know. Kasi yan talaga ang na-enjoy ko yung share ko yung ano yung mga experiences, good or bad. Para yung ating magsisimula pa lang, meron sila nakukuha kahit paano.
Yes, okay. It's our pleasure. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Harvard. Have a great day. Thank you. Stay safe, ha?
Thank you.
Maraming salamat din. Bye-bye.
Okay. At yan po si Sir Harvard Uy, ang always hungry.ph no partner and a digital creator. Nako-partner na tayong oras. Any announcement? Go ahead. At tayo magpapaalam na rin.
Nako, maraming salamat po sa mga guests natin for this morning. Si Miss Joy Sales and si Harvard Uy Baron. Nako, I hope and marami kayong napatutunan at na-inspire kayo to continue what you're doing, na may kasamang being socially responsible. At sana po patuloy niyong subaybayan ang aming episode every Saturday ni Partner Jenny. Sa susunod na mga weeks, we're still gonna talk about how can we maximize the use of technology to create social impact. So, nagpapasalamat po kami sa mga patuloy na nagpa-follow. I-follow niyo po ang Facebook ng BCY Foundation sa Facebook. And also sa YouTube, meron din po kaming YouTube channel. At of course, yung RMN, i-share niyo po ang Kwentong Bayani stream link sa inyong mga personal pages para mas marami pa ang makapakinig sa atin every Saturday. At sa ngalan ng BCYF, ako po si Jojo Armenta.
At mula naman po sa DZXL 558 Armenta Manila, ako po si Miss Jenny Pahilanga, Radyo Man Jenny. Hanggang sa susunod pong Sabado, dito lamang sa programang
Kwentong Bayani.